Good evening, everybody. I'm sorry we got such a low turnout. When we moved in, the fire marshal, the city said we could have 25 people. So if you're 26 or 27 and the fire marshal comes by, run out the back door. My name's Jay Horton. Most of you probably already know that. I'm the only J-E-H Horton on the planet as far as I know, which means I'm easy to find on Spotify and YouTube and all those things. I do have a record album out. The ponytail's not because I'm a biker, I'm a musician. I would love for you to go stream my album. You don't have to listen to it. It's not that great anyway. But turn it down and let it stream all night so I can make a couple of bucks. So, for those of you who haven't heard this before, hopefully you'll enjoy this little story. For those of you who have, you're probably getting bored with it by now, but sorry, it's not going to change. April of 2024, I'm at a gig with this guy over here playing bass, and I'm playing guitar, and our other member of our little trio is playing guitar and singing. His name's Eddie, and Eddie says to me and Russ, "Hey man, we're going to do this thing." He said some words like crypto and mine and, you know, make money maybe. And basically what he said was, if you give me $1,000, you might make some money, you might lose your $1,000. We don't know. So I was stupid enough to give him $1,000. And then about 3 or 4 days later, Russ started suffering from a terrible case of FOMO. Everybody know what FOMO is? Fear of missing out. And he bought a mine. So we didn't know what we had. We just, you know, Eddie said this thing might make money, so what the heck? He gets us decent gigs. We thought, what the heck? Let's try it and see what happens. So I took mine. They sent me this thing in the mail. It's called a cold storage wallet. We'll get to that if you want to learn about that afterwards. I'll be glad to teach some people about cold storage wallets. But the main thing is it looks like a coin. And it is an actual coin, but it's used as a key to these wallets. So I didn't know what it was. They just sent it to me in the mail. And they had my name on it, Jay. So I stuck it in a file, and I hid that, and I wrote Texit. And I hid that file in the middle of my briefcase because I did not tell my wife I'd spent $1,000 because that would not have been a good thing. And I literally forgot about it for about 4 months. My daughter got married and had some running buddies at the wedding, and I did happen to mention to them, hey man, I put some $1,000 in this thing. They said it might make money or I might lose my $1,000. None of them volunteered to maybe lose $1,000 with me, but they all said, hey man, tell me how that goes. I said, all right. One of those is my buddy Tony. Tony and I are like brothers. He owns half of my truck in Florida because when my father died, I couldn't register the truck in Florida unless my name was Bush, apparently. And so we made him my brother on the title. So now we own a truck together. In a minute, he'll be back in the story, but remember that about Tony and the truck. So 4 months go by. August of 2024, I get COVID. I'm quarantined, bored to death. I call Eddie, I go, tell me about the mine thing. He says, go get that thing you got in the mail. He walks me through a process, download an app, scan the thing, look at it. And I said, dude, this thing says I got $6,800 in here. He said, yep, you got $6,800. I said, how does that work? Well, obviously I didn't know what I had. It was completely new to me. Here's what was happening. There's a guy named Bobby Gray. Now, when he was in the coin business, which we'll talk about in a second, they called him Rob Gray. I think he feels like it's more friendly to call himself Bobby, is why he started doing the Bobby Gray thing with this project. Bobby was a mentor. He actually had a mint in McKinney, Texas. He made the Ron Paul coin, if you've ever seen that silver coin with Ron Paul's face on it. He actually made several other coins. Back in 2010, 11, 12, he actually testified before Congress for Ron Paul on his currency hearings. And you can actually look up Rob Gray, Ron Paul testify, and it'll come up on YouTube. And he basically was trying to get people at that time to use gold and silver as a currency instead of the US dollar because it doesn't inflate, because you can't print more gold, you can't print more silver anytime you want more of them. But as he likes to tell it, while he was riding his gold and silver horse and buggy, the Bitcoin rocket just went right by him. So he started looking into crypto. He thought, well, this is a currency, let's look into this. he starts buying some. He starts making coins for these cold storage wallets that he actually invented. And actually he made, if you've ever seen the Bitcoin coin, it has the big B on it, that was his coin also. Did that for several years, and then January of 2024, he decided he'd learned enough about it and how layer one crypto worked and all that kind of stuff, that he was going to develop his own coin called Texit coin, and he was going to try to build a mine and learn how to mine crypto. So he used the same idea that the inventor of Bitcoin used, because they'd already blazed the trail and taught us what to do. So he builds this mine, he starts mining these coins. In April, he figures he's got it pretty figured out. So he's going to release some on the market in May. He starts calling friends and tells his buddy Eddie, who's been working for him in gold and silver, who's the singer in our band. He says, hey man, if you tell some of your friends about this, see if some people want to help fund this thing. So what he wanted to do was crowdfund it. So instead of some couple of millionaires supplying the money to build a huge mine, he decided he wanted to be able to let normal people who could afford to risk some money participate and see if this thing would work. So what it's done so far, they released the coins in May. Russ and I bought it in April, by the way. The coin didn't even exist anymore at that point, so that's how smart we were. We bought something that didn't exist. They were at 2.8 cents a coin at that time. When I looked at that wallet I was talking about earlier, they were at about 6 cents. Now, they're at about $5. Anybody looked at them in the last hour? $5.45 per coin, per digital coin. What that means is, because we own a piece of the mine, and I'm not going to use the S word, I'm just going to call it a mine, but it's actually a piece of the mine. Because we each own a piece, or different size pieces, we each get some of these coins every day. And as you stockpile them, as they grow it in your wallet, if you don't spend them, they go up, and they've been going up in value from 2.8 cents to 5.45. What that means is there's some huge, huge returns. I bought one single mine for $9.95 in August of last year in my wife's name. I'll get to why I did that in a minute. I bought it in her name. It's still a single $9.95 mine. We've never added any more power to it. It's literally the same single you can buy today for $9.95. She's got $65,000 worth of Texit coin right now. I bought a friend of mine named Troy Dorsey. If you're from Mansfield, you know who Troy is. Used to own the karate school across the street before he sold it for $50 billion and retired. He bought, back in December, we were doing a buy three, get one, like a little, blue, what do they call it, the blue light special at Kmart. He did the blue light special, did a buy three, get one. He brought it to me about 90 days ago. His wife, they have a friend who bought something, I don't know what it was, could have been Trump coin, could have been they have all these meme coins that aren't mine, they're just gimmicks. They had bought some sort of crypto and lost money. So she told him, you got way more money in that thing than you put in, because you only put in $3,000. See if you can sell some of them and get your money back. So he brought it down, I helped him cash him out, took his $3,000 out, so now he's playing with house money. And he's got about 15 grand still in that wallet right now. And that's without any enhancements. The last guy I'll tell you about is a friend of mine that bought this past April. He called me up while we were on a Ranger weekend with the Texit coin. Rangers are a designation they give you if you're in leadership. We were on a Ranger weekend. He called me up and he'd seen me posting on Facebook. He said, I've got $1,000 I can put into this. Will you guarantee I'll make money? I said, no, I won't guarantee you'll make money. I'm just going to tell you what it's done. You're still taking a risk. He called me in July. He already had $1,500 in his wallet. So I'd like to tell you all that because I don't want to tell you what it's going to do. I do not have a crystal ball. I'm not a prophet. I can't go into a trance and find out what's going to happen in the universe. If I could do that, I'd just go buy the next lottery ticket. I wouldn't waste my time with this because I'd know what the numbers were. There are people who make predictions about crypto and they'll tell you it's going to do this or it's going to do that. Don't believe them. They don't know what they're talking about. The bottom line is it's had an incredible performance so far. If you're willing to take a risk to maybe participate in that performance, you can. You can buy one mine for $9.95. They also have another blue plate special on right now. Buy 5, get 1. So you can buy 5 and get a free. And you get, if you buy 9, you'll get 2 free. So if you buy 9, you actually end up with 11. You're not allowed to buy more than 9. Why is that? Because Bobby doesn't want 1 or 2 people controlling this thing. He wants it to be all of ours. So, all that being said, that's what you need to know as far as the general information of what we're doing and how it works. That's all you really need to know to decide if you want to participate or not. What we are is a mining company. We're people who are crowdfunding together a large crypto mine that we hope is going to be the next Bitcoin or something like it. So far, it's done really well. I want to make sure you understand that's all you need to do to be involved. You can buy 1 to 9, and you're involved as much as you want to be at that point. There is a marketing program I'm going to explain to you. But I can't tell you how many times somebody has misunderstood me and thought they had to participate in the marketing. You never have to tell anybody you know about Texit Coin if you don't want to. My wife has never told anyone that single mine's still a single mine. Okay? Everybody clear on that? Yes. You never have to tell anybody. If you do tell people, crazy stuff happens, and I'm going to tell you that now. So, remember the running buddies? When I saw I had 6,800 bucks in there, first thing I did was call Eddie, and I said, Eddie, I want another mine. He said, well, if you do that, put it in your wife's name or your daughter's name or something, because they give you referral credits. And if you refer 3 people, they give you more mine power. I said, well, you didn't tell me that when you signed up. He said, yeah, I don't care about that stuff. So I buy one in my wife and my daughter's name. First guy I call is Tony with the truck, right? Remember Tony? And I called all my buddies and I told them what I call a Southern fairy tale. I used to call it a redneck fairy tale, but I don't want to offend any rednecks. So you're welcome. So I call it a Southern fairy tale. Now, and you know, people of all walks of life talk like this, not just rednecks. I called them up, instead of saying once upon a time like you would in a normal fairy tale, I said, y'all ain't gonna believe this. And so they started signing up. My buddy Tony, he says, well, how does it work? I said, I don't know, call Eddie. He gets on the phone with Eddie, buys a mine. Next thing I know, they give me more mine power. And I thought, oh, that's really cool. So I called all the other guys, you know, y'all ain't gonna believe this. They start signing up, boom, 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 boom. The next week I get another call from Eddie. He says, how do you want your bonus? And I said, dude, you didn't tell me about a bonus. He said, man, I don't like it. It's like Amway or like Nerium or Mary Kay or Avon or one of those things. He said, I don't like that stuff. I just think it's weird. I've always hated those things. I don't like people bother me about them. So I don't tell people about that. He does now, by the way, because he's made a ton of money with it. But at the time, he was not too fond of the program. Did he tell you there was a referral bonus when you signed up? No, exactly. See, I'm not making this up. This is Eddie for you. He also told me and Russ it was $1,000 to get in, and he still owes Russ $5. He paid. That's right. That's right. So he owes Russ 10. He paid me my 5 2 weeks ago, so I'd shut up about it. But did he really? He borrowed it. That sounds like Eddie. And you know what? I'm still going to tell on him whether he paid me or not. But anyway, he says, you're getting a bonus. And I said, man, I mean, that's really cool. How do I get it? He said, well, we can send it to you in Texit Coin. We can send it to you in Bitcoin. At that point, they'd pay we were tiny still. It was less than 200 miners. And he said, you know, we can do this, we can do that. There were all kind of cryptos they'd send it to you in because they were trying to promote crypto and get people involved in the crypto end as well as buying in the mine. And he said, you know, I Zelle you gig money after I cash the check. They'll probably just give me the $1,000 and Zelle it to you. I said, well, if it's $1,000, Zelle it to me right now. I'll get my money back out. And really, when he said there was a bonus, I thought it'd be like $150, you know, like when you refer your friend to the bank and they give you a toaster. But it was $1,000. So of course, I got on the phone and called more people. And I kept calling people and kept calling people. And eventually, I'd made all the money back that I'd invested in those 3 mines and was playing with house money and just making extra money every time you turned around. So how does that work? Again, you don't have to do this. You never have to do this. Don't call anybody if you don't want to call them. Matter of fact, if you got friends you don't want to call, give me their phone number. 1, 2, free is what they call this program. Eddie says it should be 1, 2, 3 free, and my wife agrees with him because it's actually the third person you refer that give you more mind power. You get another mind. If you sign up today and you get 3 people that sign up, whether they buy 1 or 9, the 3 people sign up within the next 30 days, they'll give you 2 minds because they call that a quick start. Every 30 days that you requalify by referring at least 3 people that buy in, you get another 2 minds as long as you keep doing it every 30 days. If you get where you're 45 days or 50 days apart, you'll still get 1 for every 3 people. That's one of the 2 programs. That program is called 1, 2, free, or 1, 2, 3 free if you prefer. The 2 programs, and I explain this about 10 times a week to different people. The 2 programs are not related at all. The other program is called Rapid Rewards. And the way it works is like this. If you buy mine, and your friend Fred buys a mine, and Sam buys a mine, and Jim buys a mine, those are 3 points. As soon as you get 3 points on what's called your other leg, you'll get $1,000. If you get 6 points on each leg, you'll get $2,000. If you get 9 points on each leg, anybody can guess? $3,000. Now, again, you don't have to do this. You don't want to do this, let me know because I like it. And I hate multi-levels, but I love this. The coolest thing about it is, once you get to 3,000, that's all you can get. If you sign up today and you make $3,000 next week, you can make the same $3,000 I can make. I can't make any more than you can because I can't, it cuts off at 9. I've had people say, oh, that's a pyramid. Well, it's the stupidest pyramid I've ever seen because the guy at the bottom can make the same as the guy at the top. And that's why he cuts it off. The extra money goes for advertising. Anybody seen the billboards? Anybody seen the ads in the airport? Yep. Here's the other cool thing. Let's say you don't want that $1,000. You want more mind power. They'll give you 2 more minds for it. For $2,000, they'll give you 4. And for $3,000, they'll give you 6. Now, I'll say this. Don't wait till the last minute to make your mind up about that because you choose a choice on the website under your profile as to which one you want. If you leave it alone, they're going to send you the money in USDC, which is a dollar-based crypto. If you tell them you want it in hash, then you get it in mind power. And the other thing about it is this. Remember I said they referred Fred and Sam and Jim or whoever? If Fred buys a 9, they already made their 9 points on that side. If Sam buys a 9, they already made their 9 points on that side. Now, that's great. You won't have the 1, 2 free yet because you only got 2 people, but you'll still get the $3,000. Every week that you do that, they're going to give you 3,000 or 6 more mines. When will it end? When we sell the last share. When the last piece of the last mine is bought, we're done. That's the other thing that's different. It's not going to go on forever and ever. As a matter of fact, at some point, we're only going to be signing up miners to mine, and they won't even be offered a compensation program because we won't need to. There'll be enough of us doing it, and there won't be enough time left for them to make any money on it. And if the coin's worth what we think it's going to be, people are going to be begging you to sign up and not worried about the compensation plan. The other thing that's different between that and what people consider to be a pyramid or a MLM is there's no product in your garage. There is reciprocal income now, but the income comes from your mine. That's where your passive income comes from. It doesn't come from somebody. It doesn't require people to re-sign up every year and buy shampoo. It doesn't require people to have prepaid legal they're never going to use. And I know some of those programs are really good and people have made a ton of money in them. But the average person struggles to do anything in those. The average person in this, I got friends in this that couldn't sell heaters in Alaska. But they have been able to tell their friends about this and make a ton of money. As a matter of fact, I'd like to do this if I can. Please raise your hand if you've bought at least 1 mine already. All right. please, well, there ain't but a couple of people in here that are prospects. Y'all need to start calling people. Y'all are losing money. Keep your hand up. Leave your hand up if you've made at least one $1,000 bonus or one buy one, get one. All right, leave your hand up if you've made at least $3,000 once. Leave your hand up if you've got all the money you ever put into this back out of it and made a profit. That's how easy this is. You know, there's some pretty sharp people in here, but you can look at me. I don't have a tie on. I've got a ponytail. I'm 120,000 pounds overweight, and I can do this. All you got to do is call friends and tell them about it. But if you don't want to do it, please don't. Last two things I like to say. If you're a person of faith, go home and pray about this. Don't make up your mind without praying about it first. If you're not a person of faith, go ahead and buy in. Your life's a gamble anyway. Last thing I like to say is this. If this number is going to keep you awake at night, don't do this. If this number is going to mean your kids have to eat ramen noodles for the next 2 months, I don't care how much they want to eat ramen noodles for 2 months. We know we can't feed them that. Don't do this. You're going to miss the car payment, the insurance payment, credit. If you've got credit card debt coming out of your eyes and you're not going to be able to pay some of it off, don't do this. Don't risk money you don't have. There is still a risk to this. For all I know, it could all go away tomorrow. I hope it doesn't, because it's going to cost me about $3 million. But this is risky. Anything with this high of a return potential is risk. I have people in the group tell me, quit talking about risk. I'm not going to. I actually will tell you, one of my friends bought a 9. Right before he bought it, he called me up and says, I've got misgivings. I said, don't do it. Tim Maroney. Don't do it. Whatever you do, don't do this. I don't want you to have misgivings. I don't want you to be up at night. Calls Eddie, buys a 9. Eddie calls me 2 hours later and says, Tim just bought a 9. $8,955. And they weren't doing buy 9, get 2 then. He just bought a 9. I called him up and I said, I'm going to clean it up because y'all don't know me. But I said, what the heck are you doing? He goes, in for a penny, in for a pound. So I almost talked a guy out of it that was bought a 9. And I don't think you should buy it if you have any misgivings at all. I think if you're willing to take a gamble with us and join this community and help us build this thing. The other cool thing about this is if you want to learn about crypto, there's people in this room that are really smart about crypto. Where's Eloy? Right there. That dude there, he's forgotten more about crypto than anybody else in the country. He can teach you all kind of cool stuff about this. And everybody's willing to share instead of you paying somebody $1,000 an hour to teach you about crypto. There's guys here that'll do that and without charging you a dime. Although I did pay him to hook up my miner upstairs. But that's because I didn't want to do it. All right. That's what we're doing. That's how it works. I'll take a couple of 3 questions. I know everybody doesn't want to stay here till 10 o'clock. Do what? What about my truck? Oh, the truck. I left that out. I'm so sorry. That's their favorite joke. Sorry, guys. So back to when I first started calling people. First guy I called was Tony. I sent him a screenshot of what's called my wallet. So he looks at it and he says, what is this? I said, well, that's dollars on the right and that's coins on the left. So Bitcoin was selling for $60,000 a coin at the time. So he does, he's a math geek. Dude, you realize you're going to have over $4 billion if this goes to Bitcoin levels? And I said, Tony, I don't expect that to happen, but if it does, you can have the truck. So trust me, he does not have the truck yet. Although it's at his house, he told me he had to take it into the shop because the back wheel locked up. Anyway, that's what we're doing. Anybody got a question? Clear as mud? Yes, sir. What's the driving price of it? I have people ask me that all the time, and this is what I always tell them because this is all I know. There's more people buying them than there are selling them. That's the only thing I know. It's market economics.
And then, say, I looked this up on Coinbase or Robinhood. It's not available on there, right?
Do what now?
Where is the trading of this coin?
The main, where I buy and sell, it's on Dex Trade. There's over 200 crypto platforms. The big ones like Coinbase, Robinhood, Crypto.com, they don't recognize us yet. We don't have enough. It's not because of the value of the coin. It's because of the number of coins that are on the market. Because a lot of us are hoarding them as they go up, and we're not spending them, and the liquidity is not high enough for the big boys to take notice. And the mine, when the mine's fully built and we got a little more liquidity, I've got all ideas. You'll see us on Coinbase. The coins are capped, 90 to 100,000 a day. That's all it makes. It makes 90 to 100,000 coins. Do what? It's going to halve in 5 years. You know what halving is? They'll go down to 45 instead of 90. It's going to halve in 5 years, and it's going to go for 135 years. The mine's designed to go for 135 years. And I always tell people, if it quits at 134, call me. I'll give you your money back. The total number, I don't know it off the top of my head, but it's 330 some odd million that it's going to make. It's 338? 358 million in 135 years. It's not going to cut off at 21 million like Bitcoin did. Well, it's going to have in 5 years. I don't know about the next drop. I don't figure I'm a. Yes, ma'am.
So, I was on the Zoom, I think it was last night with Bobby Gray, and they talked a lot about Mansfield getting online.
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell us where that's going to be?
Absolutely, I know exactly where it is. It's on. I would hope I know where it is, right? It's on Gibson Cemetery Road near Bennett Lawson. There's a big industrial complex out there where some guys are fixed trucks and stuff. They're still building it right now, but as soon as it's up and running, I will be the person who you call to get tours. So I'll be glad to take you guys on tours of the mine as soon as it's up and running.
And how do we get a hold of you? Just find it.
My card is right there.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 16,000 people in my group now that I just showed you. And I think I get calls from 15,000 of them a day. But my number is 817-691-1324. If I don't respond right away, I'm doing a meeting or talking to somebody or onboarding somebody or teaching a guitar lesson. But it's also on the card. You're welcome to the card. I bought 5,000 of them. A really wise business-oriented friend of mine told me 30 years ago, if you're going to start a business, buy 5,000 business cards first thing and give them to everybody you can give them to. That's how I built the studio down there. That's how I'm building this. As a matter of fact, I'll give the waitress, here's your $100 tip and here's your business card. Okay, sorry.
I'm sorry. Out of curiosity, so McKinney has one, we'll have one, and there's
There's another phase going in Victoria. I don't know, I've never been to Victoria. Somewhere out in the middle of nowhere in Texas. There's going to be way more than 3. There's another one already slated for Gonzales. There's also home miners in a bunch of people's homes because the more decentralized it is, the safer it is and the stronger it is. If you'd like to see a home miner, there's one up there mining right now.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
I got one, but I never plugged it up yet.
All right, I got a resource for you. What's your name?
Right.
Ray? Eloy?